Hello, me mateys. Vuvi Yaloovie here. We're back with the Mega Audino, me mateys. Very good. Today we're going to be focusing a little bit about win conditions, me mateys. And last video I was talking about advantages and disadvantages and how to try and spot them, and then towards the end of the video I was going on about how to prolong or press your advantage. Now in the end, towards the end of that video as I was editing it, I thought, yeah, it kind of works like that too. Yes, we can think of each Pokemon at an individual level, but then I think it's great to step back a little bit and try and see a bigger picture by what is the win condition, right? I think in a turn-based game, you can sort of play it like, what is the win condition for that turn, or what is the win condition overall? I think generally speaking, it's good to have like an overall picture of what you're going to do and how you're going to beat the other team, right? So let's use a typical Trick Room team as an example, just to make things a little bit easier, right? Let's say you're up against a Mega Crabominable team or a Mega Mawile team with Farigiraf and any Trick Room setter of your choice, right? So Farigiraf and a second Trick Room setter like a Rangaroo or something. They got Torkoal somewhere in there too, right? Now, the main thing that usually is a win condition against Trick Room teams is to prevent Trick Room from going off, right? If they get Trick Room, they have pretty much the offense to just go ham into your team and annihilate your team with really strong eruptions from Torkoal, and then finish you off with their main sweeper being that Mega Crabominable or Mega Mawile with huge power, right? And with that in mind, what happens if you aren't able to prevent Trick Room, right? Let's say you have a balanced team, right? Not sure what you would have as balance, but let's say you have like something like Archelodon or whatever, and you have a reasonably decent comp that goes into almost anything, right? Usually to spot the win condition against a Trick Room team when you're inside of a Trick Room is to try and predict when they're getting in their sweepers and try and punish them for switching out too early. So by doing that, let's just say you have Farigiraf and Torkoal on the field, right? You know that most of the time the standard play to set up Trick Room is to protect the Torkoal and go for the Farigiraf. If you have an option to prevent the Trick Room from going off, like, let's just say a really powerful bug-type move from Scizor, like Bug Bite Scizor, and assuming that they're not running the super effective Bug Berry on the Farigiraf, right? And then you're able to hit it with another Dark move. Then you wipe out this Farigiraf, and then suddenly Torkoal's no longer the fastest thing on the field, and it just protected for no reason, right? After you remove the first Trick Room setter, or even the only Trick Room setter, it becomes a much easier to deal with the main offensive threats because they are not moving first, and they have to sort of predict who's going to take damage on that turn in order to get their damage off, right? So if you double up into their Mawile and they also try and go for like a Heat Wave on the Torkoal expecting you to do damage on them, well, now they've just used Heat Wave when they could have gone for Eruption and Mawile's down, right? So that's kind of like a way to spot the win condition on a turn-by-turn basis, with that overall strategy that taking out the Trick Room setter is the ideal path to victory. Now, win conditions can sort of change between turns, right? You could have a half Trick Room team and a half very speedy team. So what I mean by this is you could have something like Sneasler on a Trick Room team. They have a fast mode that tries to prevent you from taking out their Farigiraf, right? And so the win condition on that basis would have to change depending on how they want to prevent you from preventing them from getting up Trick Room. Yes, I know that sounds very silly, but that's kind of how it works. As you get higher and higher in the levels, right? It becomes like a whole branch of mind games that you really got to consider. And like at the end of the day, sometimes it's easier just to play what we call bread and butter, right? So what is the team trying to do at the end of the day, right? Generally, once you've built your team around a certain idea and certain concept, once you've started playing around with this, and this is what I mean by last video, understand your team and how it works, right? What I mean by that is, once you understand your team, you can sort of just get an idea of your bread and butter combos. So for me in particular, Trick Room Audino. I Trick Room with Audino, I Protect with Mudsdale, or if I have a Redirector, I bring that out too, redirect the damage onto, let's just say, Volcarona, and then I get up Trick Room. Maybe Volcarona goes down because they decided to double up into the Audino, and then I get Mudsdale in for free, and I can start doing some really good damage with Mudsdale. And so a counterplay for this, right, if I don't have a Redirector, they probably lead something like Sneasler, Gholdengo, right? Sneasler, fake out the Audino, take away my first turn of the game, right? And if I protected the Mudsdale, if I had it next to Audino, then I've used up my protect for that turn, and Mudsdale is liable to an attack next turn, so that Gholdengo is likely going to press like Nasty Plot or something, and then completely threaten my team, right? And if Gholdengo set up Nasty Plot, then it's very hard for Audino to try and go for a Trick Room, especially when Mega Evolved. So, me mateys, we're going to try to spot overall win conditions as well as turn-by-turn win conditions. Now, I'm not a top player. It's still wishy-washy for me. But I'm going to try my best. My line of thinking is because I use my favorites. I think what I'm saying is applicable to every Pokemon in the game, right? Because at the end of the day, you can focus on like individual winning strategies for each Pokemon, but then you're overcomplicating, like, okay, you want this Pokemon to do this, blah blah blah, and then yeah, it just feels like you're overcomplicating things if you focus it on individual Pokemon. Even though the strategy revolves around individual Pokemon, it's what you want to do overall with this Pokemon, setting up a general strategy as the win condition. And if that confused you, me mateys, that's okay. That's alright. We're just gonna go with this. So I've changed Audino's Flamethrower to be Thunderbolt Gaming, and we've changed Goodra's Giga Drain to Flamethrower, just so that we can let Meowscarada take care of Swampert, because in rain, Meowscarada can actually handle a Wave Crash. So very good. Okay. Looks like we've got a Mega Frostlass team. In situations like these, they seem very hard aggressive, but they also have a slight slow mode with Serena and Incineroar. So my guess is they want Mega Frostlass, set up Aurora Veil, get the Garchomp in, and end the game with Basculegion. If they want to support, it's most likely going to be Sneasler, or if they want to intimidate us, it's going to be Incineroar. So my line into this, if I can get up Trick Room, and then, because I think I'm going to survive their initial attack, right? If they want to lead the Frostlass, I can heavy slam the Frostlass. Frostlass is not that heavy. Then for the rest of their team, I personally want to go with Alcremie. Even though it's not really the win condition, but I really do want to go Alcremie. Oh no, me mateys. Okay, well anyway, for this game, I'll abstain. I'll go with Primarina because that handles the Garchomp a little well. Actually no, Alcremie's sort of better. And then go with Meowscarada to handle this Basculegion should they choose to use it. Now, the idea behind this is that they're going to lead Mega Frostlass, and if they don't lead Mega Frostlass, then that means they've already understood that my team can probably handle the Frostlass really well. It's no doubt going to be Frostlass Sneasler, so very good. Alright, so this is what I was talking about by leading Sneasler, right? Sneasler's just such a good Pokemon against Audino. Close combat for regular Audino, Diaclaw for Mega Audino. Now, Frostlass can either choose between two things. It's in an advantage state. It can go for Aurora Veil, thinking that will just protect the Mudsdale, or it can go for a Blizzard if they do not want the Mudsdale getting off an attack. And I'm going to play it super standard here. I'm just going to click Trick Room, I'm going to click Protect, and let's see what they do. So the win condition for me on this turn is getting up Trick Room, right? They need to either fake out the Audino this turn, or just delete the Audino. So what they would do reasonably on the Sneasler, fake out the Audino, and if they don't know Audino gets Trick Room, they probably close combat it, right? So let's see what happens here, and let's see how we can deal with this. So we protect on the Mudsdale, that's okay, me mateys. And it is correctly the fake out option. So very good. We'll just take a Blizzard here to the face on Audino. We shouldn't take that much damage, but we are susceptible to a Diaclaw next turn. So what I'm going to do on the Audino slot, I'm actually going to protect the Audino this turn because I want Trick Room to get up as soon as possible, right? And I would like to have a way to deal damage into this this Frostlass while trying to resist it, right? And Alcremie is currently my best option since I chose that over the Primarina. So that is okay, me mateys. We just want to prioritize Audino's survival so we can get up the Trick Room. So no doubt it's going to be another Blizzard and Diaclaw, right? We're in a pretty big disadvantage, but if I get up Trick Room, then it's such a better win condition for me, right? That is currently what I'm playing for. So they go for close combat onto the Audino. That tells me they want Unburden boost. So given how much damage the Frostlass did, I'm not too sure that Audino will survive this. Close combat will still do about 50 to 60%, and then Alcremie shouldn't faint to a Blizzard unless if they Diaclaw us, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and go for a Mystical Fire onto this Frostlass. Now, I'm kind of hoping that the Sneasler will target the Alcremie, but my opponent seems to know that my main win condition is getting up Trick Room, or at least getting the Audino, right? So very good, Audino does unfortunately go down, so that's very good for their team. Now my win condition is trying to hope for that they misplay a little bit, right, and that we need to withstand their attack, right? So we do a lot of damage with Alcremie. Unfortunately, the only issue is that we are quite susceptible to anything that what they want to do into us, right? So I'm going to go put back in Mudsdale, right? We need to KO this Sneasler, and we also need to KO the Frostlass before we get taken out by both of them. As I was mentioning before, Pokemon's kind of like a King of the Hill game, where the timer for you, the countdown to you to win, is your offense, right? And then it's going to feel very unfortunate not having a Trick Room option, so this is why most Trick Room teams run two setters, so this sort of thing does not happen, right? Because if we lose the Mega Audino, then that's just so unfortunate, right? So, very good, me mateys. I'm going to protect the Alcremie here, just so we don't go down to Blizzard. I think Mudsdale will still go down to Blizzard anyway, but if we somehow survive the turn, that's really good for Mudsdale. And it doesn't look like that will survive, since it does do just enough damage, and especially with Poison, right? But they are White Herb, so if we can land it, we might be able to survive. Yeah, thanks to Mystical Fire, Mudsdale does survive, so that's very nice, and we can get off a high horsepower. Very good, Mudsdale, very good. Okay, so unfortunately that's going to be it for Mudsdale this turn, and Alcremie. So my next hope is that they have a Pokemon for us that reasonably that Meowscarada can handle, and Serena's not that bad, right? So we'll just go for a Protect on the Mudsdale so we can stall out a turn of their Snow for next turn, and then let the Alcremie go down. If we can, we'll try and land a cheeky Dazzling Gleam. Actually, no. Mudsdale's poisoned. Okay. We'll try and hope for a Rock Slide, right? And we'll hope for a double Protect on the Alcremie. This is just so we can stall out a turn of their Trick Room, but unfortunately we don't get the double Protect, so that's very unfortunate, and Blizzard does go off, KO both of our Pokemon. So very simple, very standard play from my opposing team. They had a really good answer into my Audino, and I did not have a second Trick Room setter. So very good, me mateys. One other way we could have dealt with this is to have Sizzle in the game and threaten this Mega Frostlass with Bullet Punch, right? Or even lead the Meowscarada, and if we have enough speed, which I don't think we do, just to be fair, we can hope for a Throat Chop KO at first, right? So very good. Let's see what we can come up with. Let's see if the Frostlass is slower. I don't think so. Frostlass is base 120, and we're not running any speed. So they correctly do go for Protect. They know what Meowscarada wants to do, right? So they're playing to their win conditions. Frostlass, not really terribly great under without Snow. So what I can see here is them actually going for a switch out into probably Basculegion or Garchomp. Probably in this case, they probably have Garchomp since they have Serena, maybe? Well, it's hard to tell without knowing what their team is. And anyway, I'll go for a Throat Chop into this Serena since it is the most likeliest one to KO, and we'll probably just get taken out by Blizzard anyway. There's no reason for them not to go for Blizzard. Yeah, unfortunately, it does miss, but yeah, there's not much I can do about that. And it looks like I should have targeted the Serena on that turn too, because it did over half. Serenas are sometimes built bulky with Choice Scarf, so that's why I targeted the Frostlass more. I was hoping for the Frostlass to switch out into Basculegion so I could get it with a cheeky Throat Chop, but my opponent were a little bit too smart for that, right, me mateys? Okay, so we understood the win condition of that game, right? And unfortunately we lost because my opponent knew what to do against Audino, right? They tried to prevent our fake out. They wanted their Unburden boost, and they knew that the damage into Mega Audino would just be enough so that Blizzard could KO from their Frostlass, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce a secondary Trick Room setter in Armarouge, right? Secondary Trick Room setters are really nice for a Trick Room team, and they help enable your Trick Room strategy just a little bit better, right? So in my case, I'm going to go for a more traditional Colbur Berry set on the Armarouge, just because Armarouge can 1v1 a King Gambit if it gets to jump on it outside of a Trick Room, because inside of a Trick Room, funnily enough, Armarouge is actually faster than King Gambit. It's a really weird situation, but like it prevents Sucker Punch shenanigans if you have more HP, right? And then what I'm going to do, I personally want to keep the Meowscarada. I really like it into the Basculegion matchups, because Basculegion and Archelodon are one of the two matchups I fear the most on my team. Everything else is just due to me not being, not driving in the right direction, me mateys. Okay, so very good. And hopefully we can get into Master Ball with this showcase. So now that I've got a secondary Trick Room setter, we're actually a lot more better into the Charizard Y matchups, but we're a little bit weaker into those Swampert matchups. So we're going to have to rely a lot on Meowscarada for this. Let's go with this and see how we can progress. Because usually Swampert teams don't generally have enough offensive options into the Mega Audino apart from the Swampert itself. But here we go. This is a Mega Staraptor team or a Mega Metagross team, and probably screens with charm support, right? So in my case, I think it's always good to lead Alcremie Audino here. They could lead the Metagross too, that's completely fine. And to compensate for the fact that they can lead Metagross on me, Armarouge is a nice option for their Mega Staraptor. Now, it really does depend if the Staraptor knows that knows about Mega Audino, right? If they don't know about Mega Audino, they're more likely to lead Mega Staraptor into Audino, so they can close combat. If they know that Audino becomes a Fairy type, they're more likely to lead Metagross. Armarouge kind of accounts for both of them since it's a Fire Psychic type, and we can kind of set up Trick Room with whoever we need to, right? And then for this team, I think Alcremie and Primarina are pretty nice. But I also just want Meowscarada for low-kicking that King Gambit. So a nice alternative, I think we can get away with Meowscarada and Primarina. The reason I'm going with Primarina over the Alcremie in this situation is because that if they do end up with Mega Metagross, I'd like something that takes neutral damage from it. And Alcremie is really good for the Grimmsnarl, but the Mystical Fire damage output isn't really needed in this situation. Especially because King Gambit can just use Defiant off of it. It's going to do a lot to the King Gambit, but ultimately the Sucker Punch is the worst thing that can happen. So they do respect the Mega Audino, and they're going with Screen's Metagross. So the way to beat this team is to out-damage their Metagross under Screens and not take the trade really well on our side. So unfortunately, we can't really Mega the Audino in front of Metagross because of, one, Medium Mash will just do a lot of damage into the Audino, and I'd prefer not to take too much damage with Audino if I can help it. So considering they might also go for Fake Out, it's probably worth it just to go for Protect on the, actually, no, I'll Trick Room on the Audino and Protect on the Armarouge. This is just a cover for them going for Earthquake. So they go for Staraptor. Okay. Right. Not entirely sure what the play was there, but I think they realized that they didn't want their Metagross to take a Heat Wave to the face, so they switched out into Staraptor so it would take the oncoming Heat Wave, and forewent their Mega Evolution onto the Metagross so they could Mega Evolve their Staraptor. Unless if this is Final Gambit Staraptor. In which case, I'm going to try and Thunderbolt this Staraptor before it can get off a Final Gambit. And since they showed Foul Play and they still have Metagross, I think Primarina is just a fantastic option here. We don't necessarily need to take any unnecessary damage with Armarouge, considering they are saving their Metagross for later. And since Metagross is off the field, I can go for a Mega on the Audino, no hassle, right? So they protect their Staraptor and don't Mega it. So that tells me they're actually going for Mega or Metagross. Mega Metagross. So very good. Okay. In this situation, I think I just still go for the Thunderbolt into the Staraptor, and they're going to click Light Screen on their Grimmsnarl, and they likely want to Brave Bird the Primarina in this situation. I think it's fine going for either a double up with Thunderbolt and Hyper Voice, or just Moonblasting the Staraptor slot. It feels unfortunate that Grimmsnarl will be able to set up the screens, but I think just doubling up into the Staraptor in this case is fine. So let's see who it is. Is it back to King Gambit? Oh, okay. So King Gambit's not going to appreciate the double up. I'm only worried about the special attack drop here. Alright, so 13%. Do we get the special attack drop? Because this will still hurt a fair margin. Yeah, if we double up again, it's going to faint the King Gambit, right? I don't want to risk King Gambit protecting, and I kind of just want Audino to not take any damage for this turn. Because it is last turn, 2 turns left of Trick Room. And we do have Colbur Berry to take advantage of King Gambit. So I might not need Trick Room back up. I'm going to protect the Audino in this situation and go for another Moonblast into this King Gambit. They can protect the King Gambit, but then we can just get it with another Moonblast next turn, right? So we're going to see how we go with this. So they go for a Parting Shot into the Primarina. That's very nice. So Parting Shot, they're probably going back into Mega Metagross, right? So this is the stall out Trick Room. So they're playing to their overall win condition pretty well here. Okay, very good. I think what I can do now, I can actually play for Meowscarada since King Gambit's at such low health, right? What I can do this turn, I don't necessarily need Audino now that King Gambit's at such low health. I'm going to risk a Thunderbolt into this King Gambit, and I'm going to try and see what they're doing with this Metagross. If they want to Mega the Metagross this turn, I think I can get away with going against, going for Armarouge and Meowscarada. If I need Trick Room, I have Armarouge, so I'm going to try and play for that. And if I survive on the Primarina, I'm just going to go for a Hyper Voice. Yeah, so this is just a standard double protect play. What I should have done, I should have just life queued, right? So very good, me mateys. I wanted to risk the damage, right? So that's very fine, me mateys. Oh dear, that's alright. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. So their Steel Core is pretty much out in force, and they're likelier to Mega their Metagross now. Since we showed that we have Trick Room, right, they're likely to target the Audino with like Meteor Mash, right? But they do see that we have Protect. I think it's always good if we just Trick Room anyway. If the King Gambit goes down, that's just so good for us, right? The aim is to get rid of their priority and hopefully remove this Metagross. So I'm going for a Hyper Voice if they want to take down the Audino, because I have a secondary Trick Room setter in the back. So they Meteor Mash without Mega Evolving. Okay. And Hyper Voice goes off, so King Gambit will not be able to make an attack. So that's very good for me. And Trick Room goes back up. Very good. So if it's not Mega Metagross, they're probably just saving it for Mega Staraptor in the back then. Okay. That -1 did kind of matter in the long run, right? But like, yeah, King Gambit was so low anyway, we don't really need to worry about it. The worst thing that can happen to me in this turn is Meteor Mashing critical hit to get the KO on Audino, or a high roll. I think I'm going to live queue, protect the Primarina this turn, or I could go for a switch into the Armarouge. I don't think they're going to foul play the Primarina slot, but I do want Audino to survive, so I'm going to protect and go into Armarouge. If Armarouge goes down to a foul play, I mean, we can withstand the foul play, but that's okay, right? We just lose our Dark Berry if the Metagross wants to go for something like Dark Pulse, I think? But yeah, our current win condition is to remove this Metagross because the support from the Grimmsnarl is going to be a little bit annoying, but not the worst in the world. They do Parting Shot. Oh, that's very nice. Okay. So they covered for the fact that we could have switched back into the whatchamacallit, the Armarouge, and they Parting Shot the Primarina, just so we're not doing any damage, right? Alright, so in this case, I still think it's okay to go for a Thunderbolt and a Heat Wave in this situation. Heat Wave will not get the Metagross, but the idea behind this turn is if they want to protect their Staraptor, they're going to take damage from Heat Wave on the Metagross, right? So this is overall a safe play. We have Meowscarada to do some okay damage, right? We're not going to fall for that trick again, so we're clicking Heat Wave, and Metagross does correctly protect, so that's okay. Okay, so they're just stalling out Trick Room again. But we're chipping down this Grimmsnarl, and if we can get off a nice Heat Wave, that'd be very nice, right? Okay. So I think what I'll do in this situation, they can Parting Shot me again, and then go for another Meteor Mash onto the Audino. I'm still going to click Thunderbolt into this Grimmsnarl, and then click another Heat Wave, right? They definitely want to bring down Armarouge to 2, right? -2. So we'll go for this, and they're probably going to click Earthquake on the Metagross for Staraptor. But if we can burn the Staraptor, then all their parting shots were probably for naught, right? Ooh, they changed it up. That's very good, me mateys. They go for Foul Play. Colbur Berry resists that, and shouldn't do too much anyway, so very good, me mateys. They went for the attack instead of Parting Shot, so this Heat Wave will do a fair amount of damage at -1. Very good, Armarouge. And Grimmsnarl does get burned instead, which doesn't really matter for Foul Play Grimmsnarl, but very good. And because of that, they take out my Audino. They go for the Meteor Mash, and now we're pretty much going to probably see a Protect from the Metagross this turn, right? So since they showed Foul Play, right, what I'm going to do, I think I want the Meowscarada in, or I could have the Primarina. I think I want the Meowscarada first. This is so that we don't get Parting Shot on the Meowscarada since we're a Dark type, and we can threaten a Psychic onto the Staraptor should they want to Mega Evolve, right? So now their line should probably just to be Protect the Garchomp, right? Not Garchomp, the Metagross. And we can just go for a Flower Trick, or even just like a... Oh, I guess Flower Trick is probably the best answer, right? Flower Trick onto you, and since you're probably protecting, I still think going for another Heat Wave is fine. You can Parting Shot the Armarouge again. If we can just get the Grimmsnarl in this situation, that's okay too. Yep, Foul Play, not doing much damage at all. Even the burn's not helping them, right? And we do hit the Grimmsnarl. Doesn't quite KO. Burn and Flower Trick will just take it down, right? So because they didn't do any damage into the Meowscarada, we're actually really good to click Psychic on the Mega Staraptor if it is Mega Staraptor. Either that, or they could click Earthquake, and that might get the Meowscarada. But let's see how we do here. So this is their final stand against me, right? We don't have quite enough damage to take down the Metagross, so I'm going to have to speed it up a little bit. I'm going to click Throat Chop into this Metagross, and I'm going to click Psychic into Trick Room for this Staraptor. Since they click Protect, just depends on who they want to Mega Evolve, right? They got rid of our Trick Room, so they're in a relatively good position. What they need to do, they need to account for Sash on the Meowscarada. If they can account for Sash on the Meowscarada, that's good, but that's also a trap for them because Armarouge also has Trick Room. So if we can get off the Trick Room, and we should be able to let Primarina deal the finishing touch to the Staraptor. Now that we've figured out that that Staraptor is the main... Oh, I pressed Protect, not Trick Room, no! That's alright. But they clicked Brave Bird into it! Oh my goodness, what happened? No, me mateys, what is this? What? Okay, we just get off a fantastic play, but anyway, I don't think Brave Bird will fate the Armarouge. I need to click Trick Room. I did not mean to click Protect. Run that turn back. Oh my goodness. We just accidentally... Okay, yep, okay. Well, anyway, we would have survived a Brave Bird anyway from Mega Staraptor because it's Armarouge's high physical defense stat. But me mateys, I just accidentally made the play of the century, right? So they're gonna Brave Bird the Meowscarada close combat, right? Yeah, all good, me mateys, that's alright. We wanted to get Primarina in now so that we can Trick Room. Trick Room Heat Wave. Unfortunately, we stay at -1 on the Armarouge, but that's okay. We just need to literally click Psychic on this Metagross and it will go down. Unless if it's on like 5 HP, right? So we don't have any... They didn't click Close Combat, which means they don't have +1, right? We will survive the ensuing Brave Bird, right? But yeah, I've really got to play for time. Oh my goodness, me mateys, I've used up so much of my time. Oh no. Alright, so Moonblast gets the Staraptor, and very good. So that one was kind of like, their win condition was to stall out Trick Room, but they also didn't recognize Armarouge also got Trick Room. So overall, my win condition was just to sweep the enemy team with my Primarina, keeping the Primarina alive for the Mega Staraptor to shoot a Moonblast into it. And then keeping the Metagross in check with Armarouge. Now, unfortunately, we did lose the Mega Audino, oh, pardon me, in the mid-game. Because they outplayed me in the sense that they were trying to stall out Trick Room. And they were switching up their Grimmsnarl in for their Staraptor. Since they saw that we had Thunderbolt, they could kind of have free reign in making me guess if we were going to get Parting Shotted on the Armarouge and they switch out into the Staraptor. And they could leverage the fact that the next turn, I'm more likely to click Thunderbolt because they kind of conditioned me into the fact that if they want to go for another Parting Shot, then their Staraptor takes final damage. The fact that they didn't go for that other Parting Shot told me that their Staraptor is the one they want to Mega Evolve for the final push of the game, right, at the end game. And so what I did, I tried to manage it so that my Primarina would be the one to ultimately deal the final blow into this Staraptor. So I needed Trick Room to take down the Staraptor if I didn't want to take a Brave Bird to the face. I needed to make sure that the Metagross wasn't going to ideally click Meteor Mash or Bullet Punch into the Primarina. It was unfortunate that it did survive on 1 HP. I don't think a Bullet Punch would have finished off the Primarina, but a Meteor Mash would. So I definitely needed Trick Room to be up, and that is why I introduced Armarouge. If we lost Mega Audino in that situation and we didn't have Armarouge, then we're just so much worse for wear. We don't gut up another Trick Room, and we would have likely lost that one because our win condition was to feint the Staraptor, the Mega Staraptor, with Primarina. And in my opinion, me mateys, kind of hard to see during the fact, right? Kind of hard to articulate why that was, like how could I notice that, right? Because they kept Metagross on the field for a long time despite me having Armarouge, right? My guess was that they wanted to try and suss out my fairy types and then just threaten them with a powerful Meteor Mashes. And then once they saw that we had Meowscarada, then I think on that turn when I accidentally clicked Protect instead of Trick Room, they thought, okay, well, the usual play here is to click Brave Bird onto, or Close Combat onto the Meowscarada. I'm going to try and take out this Armarouge so that you do not feint my Metagross with that Fire-type move. And unfortunately, I made the most brilliant play of all time, me mate, is protecting the Armorage and just getting a cheeky throat chop onto the Metagross. Oh no, me mateys. Oh, only here, me mateys, only here. Oh no. But very good. We still play to our general win condition. For me, spotting that win condition was kind of tough considering they kept their Staraptor away from me a lot of the time. Kind of made me think they were going to Mega the Metagross until they took damage with Metagross. Once they took damage and didn't Mega it, I just thought, yeah, their Staraptor is definitely the one that's Mega Evolving. I need to keep my Primarina safe now. Yes, as a last resort, I could have Psychicked it, but then we're liable to fainting in 2 turns from Brave Bird, right? Armourouge's physical defense is really nice for Staraptor, and it can deal really nice damage with those Psychics into the Staraptor. However, if they ever showed close combat against me, Psychic at -1 would not even be close to a 2-hit KO. Probably ranging 3-hit KO if I'm lucky, and then a 4-hit KO past +2. So, me mateys, it was a little bit tough, but I knew that the Primarina was going to have the most damage since it wasn't going to be affected by Parting Shot once the Grimmsnarl finally went down. Alright, so let's keep going. Generally, a Trick Room team can be as simple as sweeping the enemy team for their win condition, or removing the Trick Room, the one that can delay Trick Room, right? So for me, I kind of like just to play simply, just remove the enemy team. That's always like the nice win condition, right? Okay, Mega Delphox. Okay, Mega Delphox and Mega Metagross do not appreciate Armourouge. However, Armourouge can't really deal anything into this Delphox. So the only way for them to lead is to lead the Incineroar, and if they want to go their Mega, they should go have it in the back and lead Garchomp in Sin, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and lead Primarina and Armourouge, have Mega Audino in the back, and then I tend to think that Alcremie can be nice here, but I think they want to go for their Mega Delphox. So unfortunately, Mega Delphox does have that Levitate, so we'll have to leverage Rock Slides against it. I don't think I can get away with Meowscarada in this one. I kind of want to try it, but I think I'll try Mudsdale first. Yeah, because we do have Focus Sash. We can live a Heat Wave from the Delphox, but it's just really dependent on what they want to have in the back. So considering it is Delphox on their badge, they're probably Delphox in the back. They lead Incineroar Delphox! Okay, maybe I overthought it, but this is still a really good lead for me. They only have Psyshock into this Primarina, and we can survive any day of the week for turn 1 shenanigans on this Armourouge, right? They want to probably Throat Chop or Darkest Lariat, right? A really good play from them this turn, however, would be to Throat Chop the Primarina, because Incineroar, Throat Chop disables all sound-based moves, and I actually just want to see if they do have that Throat Chop, so I'm going to protect the Primarina. Probably worth it just to go for it, right? But I don't think they have enough enough damage output into this Armourouge, so I'm going to go for a Trick Room anyway. Wow, yeah, Mega Delphox. Okay, very good. Alright, let's see what they're doing with the Delphox. It's probably Psyshock, right? We can also scout for like any coverage moves on the Delphox too. So fake out onto the Prim. Okay, this player probably doesn't know that Armourouge is a Trick Room setter. So okay. So you know that we're going for Trick Room, but you just didn't anticipate where it went, or you probably misclicked into the Primarina. But that's okay. you went for Fake Out first, and you're probably min speed in Sin then. Let's see if you are. Because otherwise, we can just go for Heat Wave ourselves, right? I know it seems a bit weird to go for Heat Wave now. I probably just also want to Protect, right? Just to see what they have got. I don't want to take any dark damage today, but let's see what happens. Okay, this is a little bit weird. Okay, yeah, so my win condition overall is to try and get rid of this Delphox, and they're gonna probably click Throat Chop. Oh, they're a fast Incineroar. Okay. Ooh. Okay. We could probably switch out the Prim if they do have that Throat Chop, but they just have Parting Shot, so that's okay. Let's see. Sinistcha. So just to recover their HP, right? Shadow Ball will hurt. But yeah, okay. Let's see. My offense is a little bit down, so I think to accommodate for the Sinistcha, I can go on Life Duty with Audino. The only issue is that we might take a Psyshock to the face, right? And that's just going to feel so unfortunate. I kind of just want to remove this Sinistcha off the field, so I'm just going to go for a Heat Wave. So the overall strategy is to try and remove the Delphox and try and take as little damage as possible with the Primarina, since the Primarina is kind of my win condition against this Delphox. So removing the Sinistcha is very nice for me if I can next turn. And they go for the Psyshock into the Armarouge. Gonna be resisted. Overall, Armarouge is only important for this Sinistcha. So as long as Sinistcha's on the field, I don't mind keeping Armarouge, letting Armarouge take damage. That's a trade I'm gonna have to risk, right? I'm just gonna go on Life Duty with Audino. They can click Psyshock all they want with their Delphox. I just need to make sure that one of these two remain a little bit healthy, right, so that I can click Trick Room later. And that's why I'm gonna Mega the Audino and click another Heat Wave. They should click Protect on their Sinistcha, or just withdraw it, right? And go back into Incineroar. So very good. So it was on me, right, to figure out what they were doing on their Sinistcha. They correctly switched it out because they realized, oh no, we're going to get annihilated by Heat Wave if we keep out the Sinistcha, right? So my opponent made a really good play keeping the Sinistcha off the field, and they're trying to let their Delphox sweep the day here, right? They set up the nasty plot, and they just want pure damage, plain and simple. I personally think I can just get away with double protecting this turn. This is very strange from me, right? Because I have no offense into their team, and they probably can get free offense into my team. I'm gonna double protect to just to see if they are what dark move they are running, right? And next turn, I think Armarouge is still pretty fine to go for a Trick Room. Because we prevent them from clicking a dark type move from us this turn. We're not gonna take any dark type damage on our Armarouge. So this is a very strange play, but it is to enable that we survive the next turn. And they only just click Fake Out, so that's okay. And they show Flamethrower, and they put it into the Audino. Okay. So, overall, we still haven't found out what this Dark-type move from the Incineroar is. However, they're liable to go for it this turn. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch back into, hopefully, Primarina. Taking a Psyshock will hurt a lot. But we do have Mudsdale as a last resort switch-in option, and their Sinistcha is really low, so we can get away with this, I reckon. And then we're just going to go for another Trick Room on the Armarouge. I couldn't, like, do that shenanigan where you could double Trick Room last turn since they had Fake Out option. But yeah, so my line is just to remove this Delphox, right? And they only protect their Delphox, so that's very good for me. They parting shot the Armarouge, so very good. That means Primarina is really nice to go for another Hyper Voice now. No threat of Throat Chop unless if their last Pokemon has it, right? Metagross, ooh, very good. Okay, Metagross, I'm not sure if it can learn Throat Chop, but it is a very good option into my team. So I'm pretty fine to just keep on going for Hyper Voices, right? They protected on their Delphox, so I'm probably expecting a switch in on the Sinistcha on the Delphox slot since they protected. Unfortunately, they might have to make the sacrifice or go back into their Incineroar, which is probably a little bit more likelier. So I'll just Heat Wave anyway. We need to force this Delphox to go. And it looks like we're doing it the tough way, so Delphox will take a lot of damage. It might survive this Heat Wave. Psychic Fangs? I guess, yeah, okay. Thank you, but like, Armarouge doesn't... Yeah, okay, anyway. So if they Meteor Mashed my Primarina, right, that would feel like a really, really bad right for me. And they kind of realized they should have targeted the Primarina in that case, so very good. So yeah, my win condition was just to remove the Delphox and hopefully keep around the Mudsdale to finish off any other threats on their team. So the Metagross, the Incineroar, right? We don't worry about Intimidate with Inner Focus, right? Removing the Delphox seemed to be the main threat of their team, and Armarouge was just a really good answer overall. So leveraging the fact that I could maintain pretty much board superiority with Armarouge, setting up Trick Room with Armarouge is just so good for me in that situation. Even Nasty Plot Delphox, as you saw in that game, couldn't do a really good amount of damage into the Armarouge, so I was pretty free for those Trick Rooms. The one thing that did strike me as odd was that they didn't go for any Dark type move, apart from Parting Shot, of course, any Dark type move into the Armarouge with the Incineroar. That's what struck me as odd in that situation, but you know, before you get into Master Ball, literally anything can happen, and even when you get into Master Ball, anything can happen to me, mateys. So hopefully in this video, I tried my best to try and tell you, like, a basic idea of how to spot some win conditions. Now, the first thing I need to reiterate, right? Spot the win condition for your team first and foremost. Mine is getting up Trick Room and letting my sweepers do their job, right? Full physical offense with Mudsdale with that high horsepower, full special offense with Primarina and Alcremie if I can fit it in. This meta's not really friendly to Alcremie, so I haven't been able to get it in as much as I'd like. Sneasler, if we're running Psychic on Alcremie, I can use Alcremie for Sneasler. But I do want to keep the threat of Decorate, right? Decorate is really good as a surprise win condition, especially against like Sucker Punch users. And then, yeah, and then to cover for the fact that we rely on these two for our standard sweepers, we need something to accommodate for their weaknesses, right? So electric coverage and electric grass coverage with Meowscarada, primarily to deal with the Swamperts, right? Because Swamperts can give Mudsdale a really tough time, and we have just a Flower Trick to instantly delete Swampert, right? And then we have our secondary Trick Room sweeper, Trick Room user with Armarouge, who's nice, really nice coverage with Heat Wave, so that we don't have to worry about Sinistcha's inside of a Trick Room, right? Because Meowscarada really does not like being inside a Trick Room, unless if we're facing off like against a Choice Scarf, Goldingo or something, right? Which is hard to tell from the team preview, in my opinion, but yeah. So, me mateys, hopefully that gives you like a little bit of an idea of how to understand like your win conditions or how to spot the win condition for the team. I know towards the end there I was kind of tapering off into like standard commentary. I was just trying to figure it out myself, and hopefully you learned alongside me. That's ultimately the goal with this, right? Hopefully we can start seeing a little bit more win conditions, and my opponents seem to really understand that Trick Room was a really bad spot to be in, and my opponents today did a really good job of stalling out Trick Room. And then I made a wonderful adaptation in my next 2 games by introducing the Armor Rouge and just going for having a secondary Trick Room setup with Armor Rouge, and so that we were not caught out in the open by just not having Trick Room anymore once we lost the Audino, right? So, very good, me mateys. Thank you so much for watching, and I think from here we'll just go into laddering too. Now, we're still a little bit away from season MC, right? Regulation MC, and my goal, like this season, I think I can still reach the 1800s with Mega Audino this season. We have enough time for it, but my main goal is to see if I can make it work without Sizzle this season. Sizzle's been really nice as like, just in this season in particular, Sizzle has been really nice for all those Grimmsnarls and Mega Frostlass, because Mega Frostlass can be a problem if you let it stay on the field for too long, as you saw in that first match here today, me mateys. And what I'd like to try, Meowscarada, Primarina, and Armorish for a nice Grass Water Fire Core, and then let's see if we can get away with Snorlax over Mudsdale too at some point. The only thing I want to try and, well, one of the things I want to try and improve on my gameplay too is trying to account for Archelodons and trying to feint the Archelodon, because in my mind, whenever, it's funny, whenever enemy team has an Archelodon, my brain instantly registers that as the main threat of their team, even though they have like Mega Swampert. The Mega Swampert is just like, what's the word again? Oh no. Yes, it's collateral. The Swampert to me just seems like collateral, and sometimes I just play to the fact that the Archelodon's the first one I should remove, and then usually how I lose to Archelodon is like, oh, I'm not respecting the Swampert enough because the Archelodon's always the biggest threat to me. Oh dear me, matey. So all you need to do against me is send in your Archelodon and hope it doesn't faint to like a critical hit Moonblast, and then you just win against me, right, me mateys? I know Mudsdale could probably just do a lot of damage first up, and I probably should try that out too. Let Mudsdale handle it first and then go into Primarina. That's what I gotta try. And yeah, we'll see how we go from there, me mateys. Yeah, so what I'm planning also, maybe just once or twice a week, we'll go into some of my other favorite megas. You know, gotta show off the Mega Raichu X, gotta show off the Mega Meganium, and we could probably bring back Mega Lopunny too. Oh, and Mega Ampharos. Unfortunately, no Mega Blaziken for now. I know it's really cool, but like, to me, Mega Blaziken needs to beat Archelodon with those Aura Spheres, or even the close combats, right? And Archelodon's typically on a rain team, and as you would expect, Mega Blaziken does not appreciate rain. So, very good, me mateys. We're gonna see how we work with this. Tauros could be an interesting idea into rain teams as well. Could be nice. Anyway, we'll leave that for a different video. So if you've enjoyed the video or enjoyed my past videos that I've made recently, go ahead and give them a like if you would like. And then give them some watch time, give them, you know, a bit of a boost into the algorithm, I suppose, since I kind of ruined that myself with the ZA upload, oh no. And me mateys, I'm back and happy to be playing with my favorite Pokemon again. Oh, it's so nice bringing back the Mega Audino, the Alcremie, well, even though I couldn't get in the Alcremie too much in this game, in this set, just nice overall, right? Alright, me mateys. So, that will be it for this video, me mateys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Vuvi Yaloovie, and I will see you in the next one. Ta and ta-ta.